Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. Today, we've got a really fun one because on this channel, I know that you guys really like taking a look at face masks, and I do too. They're like a new breakthrough type of fashion, a new accessory that never existed before, so all of it's just really exciting, and I love finding out new things that brands are doing and seeing how they tweak things and how they do things differently from other people. So we've looked at off-white masks on the channel, other brands, but today I'm super excited because we're going to be taking a look at a Palm Angels face mask, 100% authentic. It's got the bag, it's got the tags and everything. We're going to take a look at all of it, then we'll put it on, let's see how it feels, how it fits, and we'll give you a review of all of that stuff. So let's get right into it. But before we get going, I ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, or even if you don't, the videos are only going to get better. So even if you hate this one, you can subscribe and you'll like the future ones. I promise you, it doesn't cost you anything. Just check it out, click that button below, and I thank you dearly. Before we unbox this thing, we've got to take a look at the bag itself. So this is just kind of a rectangular bag with your adhesive folded over edge to it. And it's really kind of crinkly and thick, really loud. You can hear it. And there it is from the back there. And you can see along the kind of edges, it has a little bit of kind of perforation. It almost looks like it's stitched or something, but of course it is just plastic. Like I guess that's how it's held together. And then on the front of the bag, you actually have two stickers, two rectangular white stickers with rounded edges. The top one is in a bold font, all caps at the top. It's got the model number, and then it's got the colorway. This one's black yellow. The size, which of course being a mask, one size. And then you've got a price, which is $105, but interestingly, they do a comma instead of a decimal point for after the 105 before the cents. And then you've got a barcode in the bottom right. And then under that is the more typical sticker that you're used to seeing from Palm Angels. So actually Palm Angels, if you didn't know, they are owned by the New Guards Group, which is this same company that owns Off-White, Marcelo Burlone, brands like that. So all of these brands, their stickers and their care tags look very, very similar. So this one, as always, it's going to start with your barcode up at the top, and then it's going to have your model number, which should match the sticker above it, and match on the care tags on the mask itself. Off to the right, a little bigger, you have the size, and then at the bottom, you actually have the model name. So this is the Los Angeles sprayed logo mask, black and yellow. And at the very bottom, you've got the brand, of course, Palm Angels. All right, let's open this thing up and see what we got here. And this adhesive for this is like really sticky. It's hard to actually get it open. Okay, here we go. And there you have it. So there is a lot to go over here. Let's start with all of those various retail tags and such that come with it. So the first thing we've got here is a kind of white booklet here. It's just a folded over piece of cardstock, matte white. You can see there, printed on it in black, nice and centered, is that Palm Angels logo. It's just printed on, not embossed or anything. It's in black. And with this Palm Angels logo, there's actually a lot to look at to make sure it stays consistent. So for instance, it's all in the little kind of squiggles and things like that in the font that they use. So for instance, on the P, you want to make sure that the end of that doesn't kind of touch the circle of the P. And in the A, again, that kind of squiggle coming off the bottom left, it doesn't touch anywhere, and so on and so forth. The G and S do have pieces that touch the inside of the letters. All those things are actually really important, and a lot of fakes do get them wrong, so look out for that. So that does fold out, and on the inside, the left panel is totally blank, but then the right side has some good information. So first it says not for medical use, you know, it's a cloth mask, they have to say that. Then that middle one there says mask cover instructions, just kind of telling you how to wear it, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it does explain you can use a filter, which is great. It is kind of double layered like that, so you can put one in. And then at the bottom, it talks about returns and that you can't return it, which I think we should all agree with, because if I got, you know, a mask that somebody had used and returned, I'd be real pissed because that ain't sanitary. And then on the back of that, left justified, you've got the company information, their address, where it was made, in this case Portugal, that's where tons and tons of Palm Angel stuff is made, and then the material, which is 100% cotton. And you've got a tiny, tiny Palm Angels logo there centered at the bottom of that card. The next tag is also a folded over piece, very similar to that last one, except it is just slightly smaller and it's gray. And the logo on there at the bottom is embossed, so you can feel each of those letters. They actually do stick out of the card quite a bit. And then what this is your CERTA logo. So you've got a QR code there in the bottom right, and you can scan that with your phone, and it'll tell you if this mask is real, which is a great, great feature. When you open that up on the left panel, there's nothing, but you can see the kind of back side of that embossing. And on the right panel, you have your RFID sticker, and you can kind of see the kind of squiggles and stuff of the tag inside there. And then on the back of that, in case, the QR code is messed up or whatever, they do actually give you an actual code, a number that you can also punch in on the CERTA logo website, and that's another way to tell if it's authentic or not. So it kind of goes without saying, if you have this tag, this is by far the best way to legit check this product. And then right under that, you do have one more thing. It is a very thin, just matte white piece of paper, way thinner than the cardstock that was used on those other tags. But this one side is all in Italian, which I cannot read, I hate to say. And the other side is in English, and it's just talking about RFID. They're saying like, no, we're not tracking you, just kind of, giving some reassurance to the crazies out there, the conspiracy theorists. So gotta keep them happy, right? And all of those tags are attached with a very soft black string to the kind of main string that comes with the main retail tags. And it does just have a little piece of black plastic there as well. Oh my God, you guys, there are so many tags that come with this thing, but we're gonna keep pushing on, we're gonna keep going. So these are much bigger, and they are just straight squares, matte black. And this one, it's very thick. You can see on the sides it's actually gold, and you can see how thick that is. And centered in there is the Palm Angels logo once again, and that is actually debossed, so the letters go in just a little bit. And you do have a kind of gunmetal grommet up at the top there. And the back of that tag is blank, but it is covered in gold glitter, so very, very sparkly. Then under that, there's a much thinner piece of kind of black plastic cardstock. I'm not sure if it's cardboard or plastic. It feels more like plastic though, honestly, to me. And the inside of that is blank. And then on the back, you've got the same sticker that should match exactly with the one that was on the bottom right of the retail bag. And then those are all held together with a really, really thick, glossy black string that then goes up to a kind of light bulb shaped black safety pin that's just pinned right through the mask. And that is the end of the tags. Finally, we made it. So now we can move on to taking a look at the mask itself. So here's the back of the mask, and the first thing we're going to look at here are those care tags. So these are matte black colored tags, very, very plasticky, kind of mid-weight thickness, and they have very light gray font on them. And they are loop tags, or at least that top one is. And at the top of that tag on the front, you first have the Palm Angels logo centered, and then under that, the model number that should, of course, match everywhere else we've seen it on those stickers and such. Under that, you get the size, which, of course, is one size. And then you get into the fabrication. So this is 100% cotton for the main part of the mask. And then actually they call it the detail, but that is really just the ear straps, and those are polyester and elastane. And just take a look at kind of how the font looks, how big the letters are, the way they're justified, things like that, all very important. And then on the other side of the fold there, it ends talking about the fabrication, then you get some washing symbols, and then the care instructions start. So first they're in English, and each one separated by a slash, and then it gets into, I think, Italian, French, and so on. And then on the next tag, those continue in German, in Asian languages, and then you can see under that, it's got the ironing instructions, but those are all center justified, whereas the previous ones were left justified. That one is not a loop tag, it's just a single tag, and the back of that one is blank. The next tag starts again with that company information, and then you get a good amount of space, and then in all caps it says made in Portugal in various languages. And at the very bottom there, you get the Palm Angels logo once again. And the back of that one is again blank. And all of those tags are just stitched right into that ribbing at the side of the mask. Now let's get up close and personal with this bad boy and take a look at some of the details. So this mask is very similar actually to some of the recent ones that Off-White did in terms of its construction. So it does actually have that metal kind of nose thing that's put in that you can bend and make it really cling to your nose, which is great. And you can see how around all edges it is sewn in with a single black stitch going around, and those are a kind of ribbed material. And you can see how the direction of the ribbing changes around those corners. So the kind of sides are going horizontal, and the top and bottom, the ribs are going vertical. The ear straps are a kind of glossy black, and they do have a good bit of stretch to them, and they are on the thicker side compared to a lot of other masks that I've seen. Now let's look at the print. So the print, it's fairly thick, and it's a bit rough. Like, it's not sticky, it's not tacky, it's just very kind of nice and dry and rough. And you can kind of see the texture of the mask from underneath coming through. And the print itself is a little bit messy. Like, you can see around the Los Angeles, around the G especially, there's a little bit of fading, so that is okay. And then of course on this style of mask, they cover up the palm in Palm Angels with some kind of spray paint. But it does look to me like this was screen printed on the yellow and not sprayed on, so it should be the same no matter which mask you're looking at. So you can see there are 3 drips coming down, the 2 right ones are pretty close together, and it has this pretty uniform kind of spray glow coming around the sides. And you can see a good amount of the palm from underneath the yellow there. And if you take a look at the Los in Los Angeles, the L is almost completely covered, and the O and S are just a bit covered, but you can see them quite a bit better than the L. And lastly, as I mentioned, this mask is double layered, so you can open it up to put a filter in there, and that's really awesome. And it also just adds, I think, some extra breathability. One really thick piece, I feel like, does not work as well, does not breathe as well as 2 separated pieces do, so I appreciate that for sure. Okay, now that we've checked everything out, I think it's time to put this thing on to see how it feels and see how it fits. So with this mask, there is a lot I like, and there are a few things that I dislike. So let's start with the stuff I like first. Again, I really love the metal piece for the nose. I think that's such an important thing, and it's crazy that every mask doesn't have that. It should be standard no matter what, I say. And also the fact that it's dual layers and can fit a filter in there is great. I also think the size of the mask, while we'll get into later, I have some issues, but in terms of how tightly it fits to your face, like how much, space there is with those earpieces and how tightly they cling it to your face, I think they really were perfect with how big they made these. Like, I have an Off-White mask, and it is super tight. Like, it's tough to even get on sometimes. But this one, it feels just right in terms of how well it kind of clings to your face, at least over the nose and over the chin. And of course, I really like the style. I think it's really striking, nice branding, but also kind of cheeky with the spray paint over half the logo, which, most brands wouldn't really want to do. So I think it's a really cool style, and it does feel very well made. Like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be falling apart anytime soon. But as far as what I don't like, there are really only 2 things. So the first is that the tags are just kind of hanging loose off on the side of the mask. So either you just deal with it or you cut them off. And neither of those, in my opinion, are great options. I much prefer what they did with Off-White's mask, which is where they put the tags inside the kind of filter pouch. So they just chill right there. You'd never even know they were there. They don't bother you at all. But here they're just kind of hanging out on your face if you leave them, and that's not great. The other thing that I don't like is literally just the amount of cloth that they put in this mask and the body of the mask, or I guess maybe the way they cut it. Because the thing is, it clings to your face really well over the nose and the chin, but there's a lot of extra fabric over the cheeks that kind of bunches up and leaves some space for air, so it doesn't feel the most safe and it doesn't feel the most good looking. So I think for the next go around, if they decide to do more masks, I like them to take a look just at the overall shape and working out ways that that does not happen in the future, because you really shouldn't have all this bunching around your cheeks. It's just a bit weird. In my opinion though, the positives of this mask far outweigh the negatives. I have a feeling I'm going to be wearing this very often. I really like it, and I do really like the way it feels to wear. So overall, thumbs up from me on this one. So that is how you tell the difference between real and fake. So that is how you tell the difference between a real and a fake Palm Angels face mask. Super cool, right? Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.